experienced the 2-day program, which was back in July this year, 2018. No, 19.
No,
2019. What would you say would be your top 3 takeaways from those 2 days, Laura?
Oh, yeah. So, and some of this might sound really fundamental, but again, this was the first time we'd formally approached these topics. So the first element that we absolutely loved is that there are names for these things that are happening. Yeah. There is a defined process. There are clear steps in this process. And we came to a place where we understood more fully because we now knew what to call some of these activities.
Yes.
So the formal steps, the process, just the language was really powerful for us.
Good.
The specific element out of or the process, I think probably one of the most important is the workforce segmentation.
Yeah.
And while that might seem really obvious to an HCM or a talent professional, to us in a software business who works with talent and we understand the talent space, but to us, again, it gave us a lot more clarity around, oh, wait a second. There are roles that exist in organizations that because of what the business or the organization is pursuing, the nature of those roles or the importance of those roles in light of the business strategy can shift. So, and the example that just immediately clicked with us was there have always been data analysts and data scientists and people who understand data very deeply. Those have always been in organizations. But many of our clients are now asking themselves the question, how can we leverage our data to deliver a better customer experience? And now the role of that data analyst or data scientist has become a strategic role. It's no longer the core role or supporting role. It is a strategic role that is closely aligned to driving the strategy of that organization. That was really important for us because in our business, one of the questions we ask is, what is it that you need to have happen in the organization and what's the different level of performance you're looking for? So now what we've begun asking is, which roles or which projects and priorities, so that we can get to the roles, which jobs are really important and which category would you say that these jobs are in? And it's helping us get to a faster understanding of how we can best help. So that role segmentation was huge. And then, of course, we are a team of, part of our function is analysis. So we really loved the scenario planning. We have a lot more work to do with the scenario planning, but we loved the idea of futuring techniques. We loved the idea of working with clients or even internally imagining, well, what if these things happened? Or what if these things didn't happen? So we've actually taken some of that, not full on scenario planning, not the 10-year planning, but started to take some of those elements and build it into our methodologies internally to start challenging our own thinking around, well, what if we looked at it in an entirely different view? What if we didn't just look at what's happening right now, but thought about what could happen 3 years from now? Because many of our client relationships are, some of our clients have been with us for more than a decade. And it's interesting for us to have a different kind of conversation with an executive on the client side and have more of that scenario planning in mind. So I'd say those were the big ones. The method, the role segmentation, and the scenario planning were really cool.
And I think these are, you call out very important aspects of strategic workforce planning, because what you're really able to do is to focus on the value that's being generated for the organization, but also the risks. And in a very complex world, it can feel quite daunting looking at the what ifs. So actually, the scenario planning methodology is actually relatively quite simple. And once you become familiar with it, it is fun to do. And it drives so much value.
It is. It is fun. And, you know, everyone, I shouldn't say everyone, so many organizations talk about innovation and how they want to be more innovative and how important it is for everyone to be innovative. And we hear some really fantastic stories around great ideas that just come from all corners of an organization. But as a talent professional and working closely with talent partners, that's a challenge. Sometimes the word innovation immediately brings to mind some sort of new platform.
Yes.
And the truth is that is part of it for sure. But sometimes innovation is an idea. It is something we hadn't thought of before. It is something we now are appreciating in a different way. And that scenario planning to me is a very practical, very tangible approach that you said is pretty easy to do. That just helps you think differently and helps break into that innovation without the pressure of having to make a big decision on technology. Just thinking creatively. I love that part.
Yeah, and it's also highly collaborative, which today obviously is going to drive the right kind of outcomes as well.